What you say?
I told you that it's time to start the show.
That you only meant well.
Yeah, the show's gonna do
Of
well.
course you did. What you say?
I said, let's go.
That it's all for the best.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be like the best
Of course it
podcast.
is. What you say?
God, do I have to keep repeating
That is
myself?
just what we need. You decided this.
Hold up, I
What
thought we
you
both
say?
decided to do this.
What did she say?
I said, let's start the show.
Hey everyone, welcome to What You Say, an OC podcast. My name is Elyse Daly.
And I am Scott Daly.
Together,
We are the Dailies.
There's an apostrophe in that, meaning you're supposed to squish the word together, make it a contraction so that you don't say the two separate words.
Yeah, but here's what I was trying to do. I was trying to throw you for a loop. I was trying to make you think on your feet. I think,
I'm the one that does that, not
every
you.
once in a while, I got to shake things up because I think you're getting a little too comfortable in the podcast space, and so I just got to shake things up for you and kind of challenge
Like
you.
a Polaroid picture.
Put you out of your comfort, your podcasting comfort zone.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate you doing that.
Just gotta.
Always pushy.
Yeah. I'm trying to make you
Super
the best
pushy.
podcaster you could ever be. That's
thank
really
you.
my goal here.
I think I am the best one, and it's really you're just trying to mess me up so that you can elevate yourself to something better.
Okay, a performance review note. Don't just declare yourself the best. It doesn't look good on your. We got our annual performance review coming up, and
Do we? Are we going to do those?
yeah. Yours is scheduled with me on the 15th of July. So, at 6:30 in the morning. So just make sure
I'll be up.
Make sure you're awake. And we'll just see how it goes. I mean, there's some good things to talk about. There's some compliment
So
sandwiches.
what happens when I show up to the meeting and you don't?
I can be late to the meeting because I'm the one performing the review, so you can't. And if I'm late to my review with my boss, who is me, that's bad.
It's lonely on the top, isn't it?
Hey, folks, this is the podcast where each and every week my wife Elyse and I go through the hit 2000s
we haven't even done that
teen
yet.
drama called The OC, episode by episode. This week on the show, we are covering Season 2, Episode 9. It's called The X Factor, and there's a lot of X's in it. X's and O's.
Not kisses and hugs.
Oh, there's some of those, though.
I guess so. Not as many as normal.
Sure.
I don't know.
But before we talk about that episode, we got to do something else, right, Elyse?
Right, we have to talk about our rosies and our thornies, not from the episode, but Scott, just from our own week.
You sound so tired.
From what we like.
You sound so tired.
Well, everyone will find out why very shortly. This is the podcast where Scott, or the part of the podcast where Scott and I, we look back on the last week and we talk about the good, the bad, rosies and thornies. As always, Scott. I'm going to start with my bad. So everyone is going to know that I didn't get any sleep again. Why? I don't know. I stayed up. Well, first of all, I think everyone knows. I normally go to bed at like 9:30.
Yeah, but
during
you're
the school year.
You're on vacay.
My whole system and body is completely out of whack. And last month, there's one time I couldn't sleep. I think I slept for maybe 2 hours and then I woke up and I couldn't go back to sleep. And last night, I fell asleep for like about an hour. Then I woke up and I couldn't go back to sleep. And it was 2:00 when I woke back up. I stayed up until about 1. Fell asleep for roughly an hour and then woke back up and couldn't go back to sleep.
Yeah, you came into my office at midnight and was like, you need to make me go to sleep because I'm not going to sleep. And I was like, how do you want me to do that, Elyse? And then at 2 a.m., you texted me because I was still up.
I just need you to go in there and scratch my back.
You didn't text me that, though.
Well,
you just
I
texted
texted
me,
you and I thought that you would go
sleep.
in because you were concerned about me, but you weren't. You were more concerned about your video game.
I was working.
You were playing.
I took a 10-minute break to play some of my game, and then I went back to working.
But you're working again this morning.
It takes a long time. It takes a long time to prep for Kingslingers, a Stephen King podcast all about the Dark Tower, which you should check out at dukemedia.com. Still got it.
Plug in your other shows and not paying attention to me.
Got it. Here's what I got. I saw the text at 2:30, and I went into the bedroom as soon as I saw it, and you were asleep. And then I kissed you on the head, and then I climbed to bed.
And then you woke me up because you wanted me to move Penny.
Yes, Penny was in the way.
Yeah.
You told me when I get into bed to have you move Penny to your side of the bed because you like her better.
You should just move her.
I can't. She won't move for me. She won't do it.
You can't pick her up?
No, she's too heavy.
She can.
She's too big now.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I'm sorry you didn't get a good night's sleep, babe.
Yeah.
I hope you get a better night's sleep tonight.
Me too.
Or maybe in the middle of this podcast.
Maybe.
That's
if I'm lucky enough.
The energy level right now.
So, Scott, tell me about what was so bad this week. I know it was a very recent thing for you.
It just happened. I almost sliced my thumb off.
Yeah, that would have been really unfortunate.
I was chopping some zucchini, some homegrown zucchini, not by us. We don't have a garden. Friend.
We will in our next house.
Sure. That's what we said about this one. But okay.
No, well, I mean, like, you don't want to start a garden in a house that's not really yours.
You don't,
it's just
everybody knows you don't want to start a garden in a house that's not yours.
Exactly.
Everybody knows that.
Everybody does.
So I was slicing some zucchini, and I sliced a little too wildly, and I sliced my thumb. It was a lot of blood. It was a lot of blood. I'm not gonna lie, it hurt. And the first thing I thought was my gaming thumb. Oh no, my gaming thumb. Look, I'm gonna pick up this controller. I'm gonna. Oh, I can't move the right joystick.
You know what?
Oh no. Oh.
Maybe it was divine intervention.
Oh no. Oh, it hurts.
I think it was just God's way of saying, Scott, tomorrow just take a break.
Take a break like that Hamilton? Yeah. Like it's God is singing to me like Hamilton?
For the summer.
Go away for the summer. I am taking a break this weekend.
We'll go upstate.
We're going downstate.
There's this place I know where I don't know the lyrics to that song.
I don't know it either.
No. Okay. Anyways.
That moves nicely into my rose, though, if you want to just do a smooth
go for it.
transition. Because my rose is the musical extravaganza.
Yeah.
Hamilton is now officially on Disney Plus.
It is.
Now and forever. For those that have been listening for a while, you might know that Elyse and I were fortunate enough to go see Hamilton on Broadway. Remember when Broadway existed? Do you remember? Remember in the before times when there was a Broadway? I believe it was 2016.
Yes.
We actually bought the tickets like 9 months in advance because it was like when Hamilton was taking off. It hadn't become the phenomenon it was yet, but it was
Tonys hadn't happened yet.
Yeah. So we were able to get tickets, but they were like 9 months in advance. Are
the Tonys happening this year?
I doubt it.
Oh, man.
So we went, and that actually is the trip to New York City that Elyse and I got engaged at.
Yeah.
But we went and saw Hamilton, not with the original cast. We missed the original cast by like
3 days.
3 days. 3 days. But it was really cool. Since then, I haven't seen it again. You saw it again, right?
I've seen it on tour.
You went with your aunt when it came through Dallas on tour. I hadn't seen it since then, and so watching this with all of the original cast members was certainly a treat. It's such look, I've listened to the soundtrack so many times I haven't memorized, but there's just something about seeing it performed, right? The choreography is so good, the energy, it's just really great. And I thought
good.
Elyse is being snooty about the recording of the performance.
I just think that like one of the awe factors of this musical is what's going on in the bigger picture around just the people that are singing. And like Broadway is not as close of an acting performance, like because it's always big, it's on stage. So it's more about the large than it is about the small.
Uh-huh.
And when they did this, it was more about the small and more about like zooming in and seeing the people. And it's just like that bothered me because you couldn't see all the things that were really going on all the time. And it frustrated me.
You know, it would have been a terrible way to do the recording of this.
Completely. I know.
It would have been awful.
I know you didn't want to have it there the whole time.
One stationary camera, a static shot that takes up
I
the whole
understand
stage.
that, but there were a lot of really cool things that I remembered as you were seeing it like off to the right or off to the left because they wanted to have a close up of one person And it frustrated me.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's never going to be the same as seeing it on stage. Like, it's never going to. But most people can't see it on stage, so...
Well, nobody can see it on stage now.
Well, now, yes, but one would assume that eventually plays will happen again. Maybe.
I hope so.
No, I thought it was really cool. I obviously also
it was okay.
when we saw it, our seats were very, very far away, so we didn't get to see.
We had fairly good seats.
We
did.
They were fine. It was still far away. They were good seats for
It
Hamilton.
was good enough.
My point is that getting to see the actors' faces and seeing the facial expressions they make, I thought was pretty cool.
I will say the only one from the original cast that we did not see, that I was sad to have not seen, was Leslie Odom Jr.
I was sad to not see Leslie Odom Jr. I was sad to not see Philippa Sue. I was sad to not see Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Our Philippa Sue was okay, and she was not, I mean, she was great, but she was just not as like...
You just like throwing, like just beating Tony Award winner Philippa Sue over the head for no reason.
She didn't win the Tony.
Yes, she did.
No, she didn't.
I'm pretty sure she did.
She didn't. I had looked them up. Leslie Odom won. Daveed Diggs won. And Angelica won. Philippa Sue did not win.
Oh my God. Satisfied?
Yeah.
The amazing thing about this being on Disney
I will
Plus
never
now,
be satisfied. You are satisfied.
Because you're just a snooty theater person. It's like, well, I want to see every single background singer do their little twirlies. And if I miss one twirly, then I didn't get my money's worth.
Twirly. Mm-hmm.
You're not allowed to insult Hamilton in this house. That's the rule.
Well, too bad I already did.
Hey, Elyse, what was your roast?
So as people know, if they listened to last week's show, and if not, go listen to last week's show, I've been cleaning out different rooms and purging. And so this week I have worked my way into Scott's office, whether he likes it or not.
I don't.
I know he doesn't, but the closet that is in his office had a lot of clothes in there that we needed to go through. And there was one little section of dry cleaning items that I thought were all of his clothes. And then as I opened them up, guys, there were 3 sweaters and a dress that I thought that I had lost or had just left at a dry cleaner's that I hadn't remembered that I had dropped off before and couldn't ever find it. And then today I found them, and it was one of my favorite dresses to wear during the summer because it's just like one of those light and easy, goes with everything, looks super cool, but just, oh my gosh, I was so excited. 2 cardigans, a sweater, and a dress. It was like Christmas.
You just got all those new clothes.
It's like going shopping.
I don't know how that happened.
And these people,
they've just been in there.
See, they haven't seen me wear these clothes in 3.5 years. So they're going to compliment them and they're going to be like, oh my gosh, that's so cute. Where'd you get that? And I'll just be like, this old thing? Yeah, really, what people? No one's going to see me wear these clothes. Actually,
but I do appreciate it'll be the one time where you get to say, this old thing, it was just hanging out in the back of my closet, and be sincere.
Yeah.
That never happens.
It's true. It's fun. Anyways, I was really excited because I was actually looking through pictures the other day and I was like, oh, I don't know what happened to that dress. I looked, it's like, man.
It's just behind my suits.
Behind your suits.
My suit.
Your suits.
Elyse says the word suits weird.
It's only when I'm talking about the show.
Elyse is watching a show called Suits.
Yeah.
It was on USA. Characters Welcome. Or was it on TNT? We Know Drama.
No, it was on USA. It was on USA.
Then
Characters Welcome.
Characters Welcome.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Meghan Markle show.
Yeah.
Is that why you started it? Did you start it because it's the Meghan Markle show?
No, I started it because I had actually enjoyed the show, and then a girl that I used to work with had posted that she just finished all of the seasons and it was on Prime. And I said, you know what? I needed a new show.
I'm curious if any of our listeners have this experience. When your spouse or significant other is watching a television show that you are not watching with them, but that like occasionally you'll like come in the room and see bits and pieces of. And I think it's a fascinating experience because you see enough of it to know who the characters are, but you also see like 5 episode jumps in what's happening. And so you just have to like guess what's happened between, and I'm not invested in it at all. It's just really funny that I'll like jump in 5 episodes later and be like, oh, Lewis is at it again.
I love Lewis.
It's really an interesting experience, and I'm sure that's a common thing amongst people these days.
Lewis and Donna are my favorites.
Of course they are. You're a Donna.
Am I a Donna?
You're a Donna. You're a Donna.
Is that a good thing?
You're a Donna Lewis hybrid.
What's that supposed to mean?
You just can't get real mad, and you wear your suits very tight.
What?
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Just because I wear leggings doesn't mean.
No, any character in that show, you're a Harvey. Like, faux show. Faux show.
Why am I a Harvey?
Because he's kind of a dick sometimes.
But he gets the job done.
He does. Immigrants.
Yep.
They get the job done. That was a Hamilton quote. It's full circle on the roses and thornies. Let's move on. That was our week. Pretty good, all things considered. I didn't lose my thumb. You will get some good sleep tonight, and I will watch Hamilton again.
You're gonna scratch my back for me tonight.
And you'll get to wear a dress. No.
Yeah, I'll take the dress on our trip.
Yeah, do that. All right, Elyse, let's talk about the show we came here to talk about. Let's talk about the OC.
Okay, The X Factor. It is the 9th episode of season 2 of the OC. Is written by J.J. Philbin, Regis's daughter, and directed.
You don't have to say that every time.
Yes, we do, because, like you said, with the listening, someone could be listening with their significant other or spouse and not have heard that I said that J.J. Philbin was Regis's daughter.
You know what?
I'm just cluing them in.
Touche. I retract my complaint.
Thank you. It was directed by Michael Fresco, who previously directed the New Year's Eve episode. It aired on January 20th, 2005.
What a fresh name, Michael Fresco.
Fresca.
Like the drink?
Yeah.
Elyse, what did you think of this episode? Oh, I guess
you
I
have
got
to do the overview.
Yeah, so I forgot to write the episode overview, and I realized it before we were going to start recording.
We're going to take it all the way back, Scott.
Elyse was like, no, I want you to just do it live. I just want you to do it live.
In 60 seconds.
All right, well, in this episode, the ex comes into town, and by the ex, I of course mean Alex's ex-girlfriend comes into town unexpectedly, and Seth does not do well with it. So there's a bunch of conflict between Seth and Alex about her ex-girlfriend, and he deals with that in the immature manner you would think. And then it's boys' night out, as all the teenage boys do what they do on Boys Night Out, which is play video games and read comic books. And it's also Girls Night Out, as Lindsay, Marissa, and Summer all go out to the bait shop, because that's where everyone goes. And it's really awkward for Lindsay, because she's jealous and kind of embarrassed that she's not as good looking and as fashionable as Marissa. So she decides to get wasted, and she does that, and Ryan blames Marissa for that, and there's a big shouting match. Oh, it's really dramatic. And then, of course, there's a plot going on with the adults, but no one really cares about it. It's like about a magazine for, like, Julie wants to do a magazine, and Kirsten thinks it's a good idea for some crazy reason. That plot line was really boring, and no one cares about it. The end. How'd I do? I'm pretty sure it was 30 seconds when we used to do it, not a minute. So you really gave me too much time, but that's the episode. Elyse, what did you think of it?
Let's see. What did I think of it?
Let's see.
Nothing like really grabbed me. Not gonna lie. Wasn't like a big eventful thing where I cared about a lot of stuff.
That's all you gotta say?
It was one of those bridge episodes, another one of those to get you from the next big plot point to what's going to happen next.
We're going to have to talk all about what's going to
And
happen
you know what?
next.
You might not like Newport Living, the magazine.
Don't tell me.
But that magazine's really important, Scott.
Oh, no.
From what I recall.
Oh, no.
And don't worry. Julie's always really big on the front.
Of course she is. Yeah, I mean, I was looking forward to watching this episode because I felt like last episode ended on a really interesting note. And this episode is like an introduction episode. It's like they had returned to the status quo that kind of spent a little bit of time of developing things. They had the big soap opera, and now 9th episode, you've got to invest into what's going to really be the long storylines of the season. And this introduced a lot of the things that would be used later. Yeah. And it feels like that. It feels like that kind of episode. We're just laying like I agree with you that like none of the events that happen are like too explosive and big. I will say the moment where Ryan like thinks that Lindsay has drowned in the ocean and has this like really hectic like almost like this is the most melodramatic moment in the show so far, where he's like diving into the ocean screaming and I think I looked over at you and I was like, are they just gonna fucking drown this girl in the ocean just casually in episode 9 of the show after everything that's happened? No, of course not. It was all just a total misunderstanding. And I think like the recognition that where Seth is just like, no, I just saw her in the office. She's fine. Which was the show lying to you, right? Because like they intentionally didn't show Seth see her in the office because they wanted us to have that moment where we thought Lindsay drowned in the ocean, which was just a cheat.
Well,
they cheated. And I didn't like that.
In the show's defense, he might have been leaving as Marissa and Lindsay were entering, because Marissa wasn't in the office either. And Marissa was in the office with Lindsay whenever they walked in.
Yeah, I don't know.
We didn't see it. It happened off screen.
I mean, he said he saw her sleeping in the office. Like, that's what he said to Ryan. So it's a cheat. It's fine. It's not a huge deal. Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of bones to pick with this episode, even though there's some of it I liked very much. We'll get into that in a minute, but like I didn't love the Alex stuff. Like it's interesting because they've made this character who is now textually bi, and on the one hand, I think they handle this with a maturity that I did not expect in a show from 2005. On the other hand, they don't. Like there's moments when I think they handle it very maturely and interestingly, and moments when it's just like, ooh, shouldn't you be aroused by this? And Zach, of all people, is like, I'm still thinking about it.
Well, that's because Zach, as much as you have to love him, is very immature.
Yes.
He's like...
But that's not his character, though. Like, that seems to be against his character.
Like, it is. You know, the person that's, like, so intellectual, but then still, he's like you.
What is that supposed to mean?
Like, you're really smart and you can have a very in-depth conversation, but you say duty and you laugh. You know?
Duty. Yeah, you're right.
Or we, like, talk about poop.
Poop is funny. It's not my fault poop is funny.
I mean, I agree with you, but still.
Yeah, so that's our overall thoughts. Let's jump into some more specifics. And let's tell me, Elyse, what was your least favorite moment of this episode? What was your thorn?
So, as Lindsay's character is in this season more and more, what I really just don't like is people that are just trying so hard to fit in. And Lindsay is just trying so hard that she loses herself. And that just really frustrates me, because I feel like Lindsay has not really been one of those people that she's always been kind of like against the popular kid, was like really rejecting Ryan at first and was like super strong in her beliefs. And then all of a sudden she's awkward. So she's just going to go back and hang with Marissa and drink vodka.
You know, I'm rethinking the whole sobriety thing. You read my mind.
Well,
I
I mean,
it's like, I understand, but at the same time, it's just, her character just frustrates me.
to be fair, she was doing that because Ryan was kind of making her.
Yeah, and I mean, he really shouldn't have. That's not his place to force that relationship, because if they wanted to, then they would.
Right.
And if someone made me go and have a slumber party with someone in high school who I was not comfortable with, and then as my high school boyfriend dropped me off and said, hey, take care of her, I would have been extremely embarrassed.
I know. Imagine dropping your girlfriend off at your ex-girlfriend's house and then saying the words, take care of her, to your ex.
But for them to also be stepsisters.
Yeah. I totally
the whole
agree.
situation.
Like, I think it's so funny how often this show minds the well of underage drinking whenever it wants to demonstrate, making poor decisions, like that's Marissa's whole deal. That they did that with Seth a couple weeks ago
with Luke,
and we did
Season 1.
Exactly, they did it with Luke, and now here again we have Lindsay, and like Marissa offers her Marissa, the alcoholic, who clearly has a drinking problem, offers her some vodka out of a flask. She says no at first, but then they get to the bait shop, and she feels awkward for like 30 seconds, and is like, on second thought, I will have some of that vodka. And Marissa's like, yeah, woo. And I think it's unfair what Ryan does to Marissa in this episode when he like loses his shit at her. He yells at her and blames her for everything when it was clearly Lindsay's decision to do this. Mm-hmm. But also Marissa's like encouraging it and like pouring her up. Like we see her say, who wants another drink? Like she is definitely like encouraging this behavior. Whereas meanwhile, our perfect girl Summer, who can't do anything wrong ever,
went to go get coffee.
Yeah, is not only not drinking herself, is being a responsible designated driver and trying to get everyone coffee and kind of silently dealing with her own boy issues without resorting to getting trashed, which is the dumbest thing you can do.
Way to go, Summer.
Yeah, Summer's the best. Love her. Yeah, but like Lindsay is disappointing in this episode, and we don't really get the Ryan-Lindsay reckoning, right? Ryan is probably going to be pretty upset with her. I mean, Ryan has a thing with people getting wasted. Like
it's his mom all over again.
Right.
And Marissa all over again. Now Lindsay. You know what? Maybe it's just something. Ryan drives people to drink.
That's terrible. It's your fault your mother's an alcoholic, yep. Ryan. It's your fault. That's
They can't
awful.
put up with him. I'm just kidding. That's really not nice.
That's terrible.
I shouldn't say that.
I know you're not being serious, and that's the only reason I'm not saying, Elyse, we got to cut this from the show. I mean, I think Ryan's going to have a big problem with this, and he's going to have to confront Lindsay about it in next week's episode.
Well, and that was the whole thing. Like Marissa had said, he's very overprotective, and if you haven't seen it now, then you will. Mm-hmm. And this is, I mean, she didn't see it because she was passed out, but he got his whole protective self coming out, and you know that's gonna trickle over into future episodes.
And Marissa's still in love with Ryan. Like there's that moment at the end of the episode where Ryan is going to apologize to her, and she's basically like, hey, like you might think it's been forever since we broke up, but it wasn't that long ago, and it meant a whole lot to me, and it still does. And it's like, oh, because you're still in love with him, obviously. I don't know. Yeah, like I did not love Lindsay in this episode.
I just don't love Lindsay.
I know.
I just continue to pick on her. I'm sorry, everyone.
But all these damn Coopers and these damn Nichols and these damn
Cooper
Coens
Nickel Coens
corrupting my sweet Lindsay, who never did anything wrong, wore nothing but completely covering sweaters.
Yeah, and then you go to Newport and everything's out.
Yeah, now you're getting wasted.
Yep.
And almost drowning in the beach. How stupid do you have to be, Ryan, to
leave a drunk person by the beach when they have said, I want to go swimming?
Yeah, they're like, I'm going to go swimming. No, just sit here on the sand by yourself, and I'm going to go get you some French fries.
Yeah, let's go walk back up to where the benches are. You sit on the bench, and you wait while I get you the greasy fries.
Ryan is an idiot. He's an idiot.
Yep.
Okay, so that's your least favorite part.
Yeah, what's yours?
The other big plot of this episode is my least favorite part, which is the Alex X stuff. So we kind of talked about this already, that Alex's ex is in town. She's played by, what is that woman's name? Emmanuel something. She's an incredible actress.
Emmanuel Triqui?
What?
CHRIQUI. I'm sure it's a sh instead of a ch. Shriki.
She's from Quebec. She was like a bit parts in a bunch of different movies. She was in Wrong Turn, but I think the thing most people will know her from is she was Eric's girlfriend from the show Entourage. She's a very beautiful woman. Just like kind of like never like really took off huge. She always kind of played side characters in shows and guest roles in a lot of shows like she did here. I don't like this is such a weird thing they're doing with these two, and I can't quite parse what the show is trying to do with them. So the setup here is she shows up suddenly. Seth shows up at the bait shop to invite Alex to dinner with his family. Alex freaks out because her ex is there, and basically tells him, leave me alone. I need time. I need space. And Seth, being who he is, does not listen to that at all. Does not give her the time and space. Shows up again and like picks a fight. Like basically uses the fact that when he learns that the ex is a woman to like say, oh, she's even more out of my league because she could get with women, which is such, okay, weird, whatever. But he also, here's why this is my least favorite part, because this hit close to home with me for some stuff, because I do think, as much as I think Seth has been shitty these past couple episodes, I also do think that Alex is taking advantage of Seth's niceness to kind of just jerk him around a lot. Do you disagree with that?
No. I don't know if she would be doing it purposefully, though, because if she hasn't really had a lot of experience with people that are nice, then she may not be used to like just asking for something to be done and always getting a yes.
Sure.
So then she would just continue to do that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone that behaves that way like does it consciously. I just think that like there are certain people that are very easier to walk over and kind of control in that way, and Seth Cohen is one of them. You know who else is one of them?
I do.
It's me.
I know.
This reminded me of a relationship I had in college. I don't know if I've ever told you about this. I don't know if I've ever told you the story. Mom and Dad, close your ears. So did I ever tell you this? We'll see. I was dating a girl in college, and she had dated a guy.
Oh, no, you did tell me. I know what you're going to say.
She had dated a guy all throughout high school.
Yeah.
High school sweetheart, moved to college. They tried to date for 2 years in college.
Yes.
They ended up breaking up. Her and I started dating, and we dated very briefly. It was not for long. But one night, her and I were hanging out at her place, and she called her ex.
Yes.
Basically to make him jealous, that like telling him she's hanging out with another guy, she's hanging out with me. He drove from Austin, Texas to College Station, Texas, where we went to school, which is about an hour and a half to a 2-hour drive, depending on traffic, at like 1:00 in the morning. And I just remember I was there on the couch with her. He knocks on the door and I just get sent home. And we just pass each other in the doorway. And it is the most awkward and shitty I've ever felt in my entire life. And that's kind of what this felt like to me. That's kind of what this Alex, ex, and Seth thing felt like to me.
So you are Seth.
Yes. In this scenario.
I think you're a mixture of Seth and Zach. You're both of their best qualities.
Well, that's very nice. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It was like, and the sad part is like, I didn't even fully recognize how shitty I was being treated at the time, because like I was a shitty young guy who was like in one of my first relationships, and I just really liked the person, and I just wanted to be with that person. You know. I know what you're talking. Being young is.
Young and falling in love.
Oh my god, it was so shitty. It was such a fucking awful thing to do to me. I was so confused. I did not understand what was going on at all.
Poor
I was
thing.
just like, I guess I'll go home now. That's kind of what I felt like. And that's why this is my thorn, because this is too close to home for me. It didn't like it.
Poor
And so like,
Scotty.
even though I think it's because this moment happens where Seth like has it out with her, right? And like yells at her.
You know, it's part of your move. It's kind of part of what you do. You got your whole too cool gem into holograms thing happening, and I feel like you consistently blowing me off is part of your act.
So now you think it's an act?
I think it's a crutch. With the hair and the tattoos and the whiskey and cigarettes for breakfast, you know, I've actually seen the Banger Sisters, part of it, on cable, and I know how the story ends.
Well, I'll make sure to Netflix that this weekend so that I can be up to speed on your little theory.
Great, you do that. Point is, this was really fun for a while, but it is just not worth it, so I will see ya.
So what are you gonna do?
I don't know. I'll go find a new girl to walk all over me. Or maybe even be cool to me.
And when the first time I watched it, I was like, fuck yeah. I like did a fist bump. And then I watched the episode again and I'm like, oh, actually, he's kind of being a dick here too. Like literally all she asked for was time. I just need time to figure some shit out. and he wasn't willing to grant her that. And so, like, I was kind of mad at the end of the episode the first time I watched it when he apologizes to her. And I was like, no, you shouldn't have to do that. You were right and she was wrong. And that's why I'm glad I get to watch these episodes twice, because it took a second watch for me to go, no, you're putting yourself into the situation, Scott. Bad. Seth was wrong here. And not to say that Alex is not completely in the right either. I think she needs to kind of figure out her shit too and stop yanking him along. But I think at the end of the episode when Seth says, "Oh, okay, I'll wait because waiting is what adults do." It's like, yes, absolutely. That is what you should do.
Way to go, Seth.
That was a trip down memory lane, babe.
It was.
I'm so glad that you don't treat me that way. I'm so glad that you treat me nice. And I have more respect for myself, so I would not allow myself to be treated like that.
I know these people here whenever I'm like teasy and mean to you, but I'm also really nice to you.
I think
they need to know that.
If I knew you were being serious about your teasiness, I would be more
But I
upset
think
with
they
you.
all need to know too.
The listeners?
Yes.
The listeners? Yes, the listeners.
I don't want them to think that I'm just mean to you all the time.
Elyse loves me. I don't know if you guys knew that. Elyse loves me.
I do, very much.
Okay, so those are our thorns. What about our roses? What are the good stuff? Talk to me about your favorite part of this episode.
Guys' night in. You said guys' night out earlier, and I wanted to correct you because Ryan, Seth, and Zach all going to hang out because the girls are going to have girls' night out. So guys are going to have guys' night out. Ryan drops off Lindsay, comes back home, is trying to figure out what they all want to do. And he's tossing out ideas. He's like, we could drive to LA. We could go to a club. We could go to Tijuana.
No. He says we could drive to LA and go to a club. He says we can drive to Vegas.
Oh, yeah,
and he
Vegas.
says we can go to Tijuana, which are just three things that they've already done before.
Yeah, but still, it would be guys' night out. They'd be going out and doing something and be doing something spontaneous and fun. And then Zach and Seth just look at each other and all they want to do is play video games and read comic books.
I think so.
And then you just see Ryan in the background and he's just like crossing his arms and you see how excited that Zach and Seth got about the idea of that. And it's just that part, first of all, I just enjoyed so much. And then also whenever they finally decided that they were going to go to the bait shop and they're in the car and you just see Zach's immaturity come through about the whole Alex and her ex situation and Seth trying to drive and get his mind straight about what's going to say. And it's just like the Three Stooges. It was just wonderful because they haven't had a whole lot of interaction, just the three of them. And I think they have a really good, fun dynamic. And so I was really glad to get to see that.
Yeah.
I liked watching them a lot more than I liked watching the girls. Just because they're more fun to watch together.
I think Seth's quote when he's talking about what they could do.
We can let the fun come to us, okay? We have everything we need here for a perfect night, okay? We've got a working television, a bevy of comic books, lamps, right?
It's really good. It's really good.
Yeah. Anyway, so I enjoyed Guys' Night Out. Or Guys' Night In. I'm sorry.
But part of Guys' Night In is some more Zach and Summer a drama.
Yeah.
Like every episode, Zach and Summer have this drag out fight that always gets resolved by the end of the episode, but it just keeps happening. This one is they've reached their 6-month anniversary.
And she kind of freaks out.
And Zach is all ready to celebrate it, and he's excited about it because he's into this girl. He really likes her, and he's loved the 6-month time.
Did we celebrate our 6-month anniversary?
Oh, baby, I don't know. I don't even know when that was.
I don't know
what would
either.
That be? What would our 6-month anniversary be?
It would have been
October.
No, I don't think we did.
I don't think we did. 6-month anniversaries, I don't think are a real
We
thing.
did a year.
Oh yeah,
We planned a really nice year.
Did I
remember that?
What did I do?
It was the staycation at Zaza.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Look at me.
You did really nice.
Look at
you
me.
You shot for the moon and everything else has just trickled down. I'm just kidding.
I took you to Hawaii for your birthday
You
last year.
did. I'm just playing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting. So like the show has made clear what's going to happen with the Zach Summer relationship to me now.
Oh, have they?
Yeah. He's not going to die. You're just a big liar. You're just a big liar, Elyse. I see right through you.
Are you sure?
I think she's just not as into him as he is to her, right? She like freaks out about the it being 6 months, and she doesn't know what to do, and she starts flirting with like the first guy that shows her any attention. And I don't know, like I think there's this. I think she says the line like,
Sounds to me like maybe you don't want a boyfriend.
Oh, if he's not right for me, then nobody is.
and I think she's trying very hard to convince herself because he's perfect on paper. He's everything she wants out of a guy, with a little bit of that Cohenisms mixed in as well. But I just don't think she's that into him. And I think that's going to be the death of this poor relationship. And I think the show is cleverly doing this by like, you know, kind of building it up as what a normal relationship would be in a show like this, where there's conflict. By the end of the episode, they've solved the conflict and they've made up. And in this episode, they make up adorably over a milkshake. Right? They both put 2 straws in a milkshake and drink it together. And Zach agrees that he's going to take it.
Milkshakes sound delicious right now.
Milkshakes make you sick, baby. You are not allowed to have milkshakes. We've talked about this. No milkshakes for you.
But I like them.
No milkshakes.
I forgot. That's what happens is I forget and I want one and then I remember afterwards.
And I remember too.
I'm sorry. Thanks for remembering before.
Yeah, so they have a milkshake. But I think that's what the show is doing. That like these problems are like the underlying issue that causes the conflicts is that she's just not as into him as he is her. Which is a bummer for my boy Zach, because I love that he's part of my Rose of the Week, which is the return of the comic book club.
Why'd you do that?
The league has returned.
With added members.
Yeah, suddenly they have middle schoolers.
3 new people.
They have
2 from junior high.
2 from junior high. Where did they get them? Why are they here? It's lunchtime in high school. Did they kidnap
Probably
them from
just
their
like
junior high school?
a neighboring school, or maybe they have 7th through 12th grade.
Maybe. But they do toss out Philip, because so Seth calls an emergency meeting of the comic book league, not to talk about comic books, but to talk about what he should do with Alex.
Yes.
Well, what you should have done is tell her, take all the space you need. I know this must be hard. Boom, you're a hero.
You look confident, but like you still care.
Yeah, that is so the way I should have played it.
When do we discuss the new Avengers?
Okay, Philip, your membership has been revoked. Now, you're not there for me. I'm not there for you. Beat it.
And it's a wonderful scene in which these nerds give him advice that he thinks is good advice. And these are like nerds made to look the way nerds actually look. Well, the way nerds have stereotypically looked in shows. Not the people that look like Seth, but people that
Like
look
freaks and geeks.
Yes, more like that. And they're wonderful. I love the entire scene. I love the character that asks, "Are we going to talk about the new Avengers?" and then gets thrown out immediately.
That's Philip.
That's poor Philip. I can't believe you remembered his name.
Why? I'm good with names.
I'm impressed.
Thank you.
So yeah, the comic book league is back, and I'm worried that if Zach loses the battle for Summer's heart, the league will splinter. Because I don't know if you knew this, but like the Justice League has an evil opposite side, and I'm worried what's going to happen.
2 comic book clubs.
Yes, 2 competing
good versus
comic book
evil.
clubs. Yes, exactly. I'm worried.
But wouldn't you like that, more comic book clubs?
I would fucking love it, actually. I would love it so much. I hope the show does it. I really want the show to lean into the Seth is nerdy stuff.
Well, that was That was our Rosies and Thornies, so now we have...
You know what the part that we didn't talk about at all, though, was the adults, because they're boring.
We'll talk about them a little bit in relationship status.
I hated it.
I put it in there.
Okay, good, because it's boring. It's so
It's
boring.
fine. We'll talk about it there.
All right. What time is it, Elyse?
Come on, Scott. Tell us about the style in the OC. Hey, hey, hey. Come on, Scott. Tell us about the style in the OOC, yeah.
Not as much to talk about this week. Just a few things. First of all, I want to talk about the men, because I don't talk about the men on the style section very much. But let me tell you what.
Tell me.
Seth Cohen dresses exactly like one of my college roommates. Exactly. The polo over a long sleeve shirt thing that was so popular in the mid 2000s.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
That was really popular.
And he, like my friend and roommate James, like same body type, like it just like especially in this episode, I think he was wearing the polo with the sleeves, like especially in this episode. And man, it's just like, oh my god, that's James. He looks exactly like James. This is freaking me out. It was great. It was great.
How funny.
And Ryan was just wearing
normal Ryan
clothes. He's got that tank on.
Yep.
But let's move on to our main event, who is always Marissa, who's always trying to do some crazy shit.
They just think that they can put her in anything and she can pull it off because she, was the model.
Yeah. So the episode opens with Marissa bumping into Lindsay, and Lindsay is like immediately like super complimentary of Marissa's outfit because she's jealous.
Well, she complimented the skirt and the shoes.
She said nothing about the shirt.
She said nothing about the shirt.
Which is wise because the shirt, I don't know how to describe this shirt. So there's 3 elements to it that I can see. Mm-hmm. There is a sleeve and most of the shirt is like, it's like it's like colored boxes of different colors. Mm-hmm.
That's a long sleeve.
Yeah. I don't know how to describe it. It's like a weird pattern. And it shows up on the sleeve.
It's almost like a poster print.
Yeah.
Like different posters that might have been, like pieces of artwork from different that, or like stamps.
It's like your quilt. It's like your sorority t-shirt quilt.
Yeah.
But a shirt.
Yeah.
Except you can't see that quilty pattern on anything. You can see that it's under a layer, except for on the arm. One arm, it's completely exposed. On the body, it's like wrapped in what looks like mummy wrappings.
Sweater vest.
It looks like mummy wrappings. Slips. Yeah, it looks like she's wrapped with the mummy. But then the other sleeve is just like a gray, plain, patternless thing. It's the weirdest fucking shirt I've ever seen. And then the back of it actually is the
full pattern.
The full pattern. So it's only the front that has the mummy wrapping looking thing. It's the weirdest fucking shirt I've ever seen.
Yeah, it doesn't really look good.
It doesn't look good at all. I think it looks terrible. I think it looks awful.
I'm sure it was like a really famous designer that would have been expensive.
I'm sure. I think like the more expensive design clothes are, the less sense they make to me. I watched that one show with you and I was like, what is the fuck is going on here? All this stuff looks bad. The one with the designers that have to like the reality show with the designers that you watched last year sometime.
Oh, the one with Tan?
Yes.
Yeah.
When none of that shit makes any sense to me. But this shirt is awful. It's bad. And then we'll go over to our Summer, who is dressed probably like the most conservatively I've seen her dressed in a while.
Yeah. She was cold.
She's wearing jeans rolled up at the cuff with boots. They always put Summer in boots. Sometimes they're thigh highs. Sometimes they're not. I don't think these are. These look more like army boots a little bit.
They have a heel.
They do.
So they wouldn't be army. Yeah. They always have Summer in heels.
'Cause she's short?
Yeah. She's real short.
And so she's looking normal, except she's got this scarf on. I guess it was cold in Southern California.
It was.
I think the funniest thing, and the reason I'm bringing her up is because she's wearing this outfit at the same time that Marissa's wearing hers, and they have the two of them walking next to each other, and it's just like night and day. It's just like such a huge difference. And that's really all I have to talk about fashion today, Elyse. I didn't see anything else. All 3 of the girls are wearing different outfits when they go for girls' night out, but none of it like really caught me. I didn't see anything interesting in any of it. Did you?
No. Not really that interesting. Everything was just super 2000s.
Yeah, it's so very 2000s. Oh my god, this is in 2005. I was moving into my junior year, and man.
Yeah.
All right, so that is it for my style section. Marissa once again gets an F. Summer a solid B+, and Seth Cohen a solid James, my college roommate.
So that means it is time, Scott, to move into relationship status.
Oh, we got a lot to talk about
here. So this is where you are going to be filled in on our adult storylines. So first of all, we have Sandy and Kirsten. So last week, they are a 7 out of 10. This week, Sandy has a business venture that he proposes to Kirsten, because they're trying to get a kind of makeover for the Newport group. So she ran the numbers and decided that between his idea and Julie's idea, his idea wasn't the best for the company, but it is the best for their marriage to back him at the meeting.
Sure.
So she tells Sandy that she agrees that even though, you know, she ran the numbers because he heard that conversation at dinner, she's going to back him at the meeting. Sandy says, no, you don't need to do that. And they both put their marriage before their career because they realized that whenever they worked together last time, how much of a wedge it drove between them. So they decided they weren't going to do that again because they love each other. So we're moving them up to an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, that's great.
I think that pretty much summarizes really what happened with them. So tell me about Julie and Caleb.
Julie and Caleb. So last week we gave them a 2 out of 10. These two are on very thin ice. Caleb doesn't believe that Julie's idea is the best, and he goes behind her back to try to get Sandy and Kirsten to join his side. He doesn't believe that honesty is the best policy with Julie, and so we're going to leave them at their abysmal 2 out of 10. The weird thing about this whole magazine thing is the one thing that I'll say, so the two different ideas, right? Sandy's idea is to build low-income housing. That's the image of the company. We're going to build low-income housing. Her idea is to do a fashion lifestyle magazine. And she says, what is the target audience what is the community that we want to revitalize our name in? It's a bunch of rich, snooty people. It's Julie Cooper's. So they're not going to give a shit. As she admittedly fully says, I don't care about poor people. I don't care. Which is just like her being
at the same
so
time,
brutally
like,
honest.
it's true.
Yeah.
She knows that clientele, and they're not going to care about that. Even though it's a good idea and it would get some, like clout with some people, it's not going to get it with the Newport people. Those Noopsies don't care. They just want to read the trash. So anyways, that's Julie and Caleb. We're going to move on to Zach and Summer.
Uh-oh.
Last week, they were at a 4 out of 10. Their 6-month anniversary, Scott, happened this week. Zach is really into celebrating, and Summer doesn't know what to do with the new holiday. She opens up to Zach in the end and tells him about how she isn't into celebrating. He's cool with it and says that if they are even together in a year, he promises to completely ignore the date. And she seems really happy with that. They share a milkshake, and because it's their 6-month anniversary, Scott, we're going to move them to a 6 out of 10.
6 for one for each month.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get behind that. I do think the writing is on the wall here, but for now they seem to be doing okay.
Yeah.
So I support your choice here.
See, the thing is that every time Zach listens to Summer, and that's good.
True. But Summer rarely listens to Zach. Well, that's not true.
Yeah. They're just working on it.
They are, but maybe they're going to decide it's too much work.
We'll see. Tell me about Ryan and my favorite person.
Ryan and your favorite person. Last week we gave them a middling 5 out of 10. Ryan encourages Lindsay to be friends with his ex, Marissa, which is a bad idea. She is intimidated by her, so she's a little too hesitant. And Ryan is overly protective when he finds Lindsay at the bait shop after she drank too much and thinks that she drowned. Which is still, again, the most ridiculous storyline. Luckily, she didn't. We're going to leave them at a 5 out of 10. I don't know these two can survive, babe. I think their relationship is drowning.
I see what you did there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to finish this up with Alex and Seth. Last week, they were at a 5 out of 10. This week, Seth discovers that Alex's ex is actually a girl, and he spirals out of control. The important thing is it's not because she was a girl, but because Alex never told him about it. And I think that's the big thing, is it's not like he's having this huge thing because, oh my gosh, she dated a woman.
Yeah, I mean, I expected him and the show to react to that in a much more bombastic, offensive manner. Yeah. And it didn't. And I was pretty impressed with that.
Yeah.
Especially from a character like Seth, who would have been the character that would like go apeshit over that kind of thing in the past. Yeah. Like he does say, like, I'm supposed to enjoy it. It's supposed to be sexy, but I can't even enjoy it because, which, I mean, that's not great, but it is also very teenage boy. But,
yeah. So there's this whole like trust honesty thing that the Coens hold very near and dear to their hearts. And so that's really what upset him. And then based on that, he kind of lashed out and things seem rocky by the end. So we're going to take him down a point to a 4 out of 10.
Yeah, that's great. That's
Thank
great.
you.
Totally.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll find out what happens to them next week, because the one thing we haven't talked about yet, Elyse, is the very, very end of the episode. At the end of the episode, Marissa is at Alex's, and they're sitting there watching a movie on the TV. What movie are they watching? Well, it's the same movie that Sandy Cohen is watching, which is House on Haunted Hill, which is funny, Elyse. You know why that's funny? Because
Why?
they remade The House on Haunted Hill in 1999, and guess who starred in that movie? Peter Gallagher.
Oh, that is funny.
But they're watching the old classic version of House on Haunted Hill, and Alex is like, "You want a blanket?" And Marissa's like, "Yeah." And then they kind of cuddle up to each other, and they both give each other looks. And as we fade out, Marissa is giving Alex a look, Elyse, a very like, "Do I want to kiss her?" look. I don't know. So they're going to be. I think this is going to be a really ridiculous storyline. If I do think our next week episode is titled "The Accomplice," and I think it's going to be Marissa going bad again with Alex as her partner in crime, and maybe there'll be some attraction there. I don't know. It seems like that's what's being set up here.
Interesting. We'll just have to see, Scott.
Yeah, we will on The Accomplice, episode 10.
And you know what? That's all that we have time for this week. So if you like this podcast, you can check out all the other shows that we do over at doofmedia.com. Scott, are there any fun things going on this week with our other shows?
We have all our usual shows. Pale Reflections comes out on Saturday. That is the Australians talking about Wild Bow's web serial Pale, which you should all read. Mm-hmm. We also have a new episode of Media MD is coming out on Thursday. That will be covering the mini-series, hour-and-a-half long little movie that began the updated Battlestar Galactica series. You've seen the first season of that, at least, I think.
Yeah.
I think. I love that show, and I'm very excited to hear them talk about it. So that's on Media MD. On Friday, Matt and I will be taking a look at the movie Stardust for our Council of Doof, kind of deciding whether or not...
Friday or Thursday?
The episode comes out Friday.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So we'll be taking a look at that movie and trying to decide whether this is worthy enough to be in the canon.
That's the movie we had to watch.
Great films. Yes, it is. That is a movie. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So yeah, it's a exciting week.
And there's also... I mean, it's not going to happen this week, but you were telling me that last week there was Game Club. So they've announced the new game for this next month, which you said is something that I would actually be interested in.
Yeah, it's a
playing.
game called Outer Wilds. It's kind of like a exploration. It's a story-driven, like free reign exploration where you just kind of look around and solve mysteries, and there's no combat. You're just kind of exploring the universe.
It sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Game Club is the first Saturday of every month, so the next one will not be until August 1st.
Oh, August 2nd.
1st.
2nd. I'm getting my hair done the first Saturday of the month.
August 1st.
August 1st?
I'm sorry to be insistent here, my love, but...
Oh yeah, I do have an appointment on August the 1st. Okay, August the 1st, guys. Well, you can, catch us there. You can also consider donating to our Patreon at patreon.com/doofmedia. And Scott, what do they get if they donate?
Oh my God, they get so much stuff. If they donate $5, they get to do our monthly Doof and Chill sessions, which is just an exclusive stream where me and a couple of my podcasting friends get on YouTube Live for a couple of hours and do something. We have interviewed new members of our community. We've played video games. I think this month we're going to be playing a game called Fiasco, which is like the game you played.
Oh my gosh, I loved that one.
Yeah. You can do it with us if you want.
I might have to.
Yeah. It's kind of like
would be fun.
Dungeons and Dragons without the DM and with no combat, just role playing. It's a lot of fun.
Well, I don't want to step on anyone's toes.
I think we're still looking for a fourth. So I'm sure people would love for you to be
So who would the 4 people be then?
the same ones that were there when we did it with Michael.
Oh, so it would just be like Yumi, Matt, and Michael?
Yes. Probably. We're still working on a date for that, but that is at our $5
What a great
level.
crew.
Yeah. And of course, at any level, you get access to our Discord. You get access to vote in our book clubs and our game clubs and just part of this great community. So yeah, check that out at patreon.com/doofmedia.
Yep, that's it. You wrapped it up.
That is it. That's the end of the show. Goodbye.
Bye.